let me remind you what we were doing last time. Okay, so we were trying to show that starting from any domino tiling of the Aztec diamond, we can get to any other, and we did this by constructing a height function. What is it? So we assigned heights in such a way that for whenever there's a tiling of the domino along the edges, the height goes up either by plus 1 or minus 1, depending on whether the square to which it belongs is black or white. Okay, so it's a bit complicated. I don't want to get into everything all over again. But the key point is that that heights of vertices as you go along edges change by either 1 or 3, and this difference 3 occurs if and only if edge is not part of a domino, is not part of the boundary of a domino, and we constructed this reduced height function, and we showed that you can construct the rank of a tiling alternately as the sum of the reduced height function over all vertices. For the all horizontal tilings, this was 0, and we showed that the rank increases by 1 as you make these as you increase the height, reduced height by 1, and which effectively moves amounts to one of those elementary moves. So there were a couple of issues with this proof, but before I go into that, let me demonstrate this idea on for size 2. So let me go over here. So put this over here. So demonstration of the flipping moves. Elementary, okay, we call them elementary moves. So each of the elementary moves that I'm going to demonstrate increases the height by 1. So for A2. Okay, so the all horizontal tilings is this. So this has rank equal to 0. And now you can flip either this to get here. So this will give you rank 1. This elementary. Yes? Question? Okay. Or you could flip these two to go here, which will also give you rank 1. And then from either of those two, you could flip the other 2 horizontals to get 2 verticals, and you will come over here. So both of these will give you rank 2, this rank 2 guy. And now you see, this is what I wanted to stress here. To go, I mean, if you flip this two verticals to horizontals, you will get this tiling, which seems to be going the wrong way, because we want to get from the all horizontals to the all verticals, which was the maximum. This was the minimum maximum. So you might have naively thought that you would only flip horizontals and to get verticals at each step, but that's not the case. So here you actually have to go the other way around. So this is maybe I'll put this in another color, just to emphasize that we are in some sense going the wrong way. So this is now rank equal to 3, and now you can flip these two horizontals or these two to get verticals in two ways. So this will give you rank 4, and so will this. And then from either of those you flip the other vertical and you get this guy, which is rank 5. Okay. So there is this step, and you can see that this has to do with the parity. So here, so this was a black square, this is a black square, and this is a black square. So here you're flipping a 2 by 2 square where the bottom left is black or the top right is black, whatever. But here when you're flipping this, it's the bottom left is white and the top right are white squares. And so somehow flipping the opposite way seems to be the right thing to do. Okay. Another thing to notice, and this is related to a homework problem that I'll give you, the rank of all vertical tiling, which is using our notation, this is R of T max. This is 5, which is 1 squared plus 2 squared. And this property is going to be. Okay. So any questions about this? Okay. So another point I wanted to make about the proof was the following. So the reduced height function for all vertical tiling of size, what is it? I think. Yeah. Okay, here it is. So if you remember the proof, oops, this anymore. So what we did was we constructed a sequence of moves starting from a given tiling to T-min, the all horizontal tilings, by picking a vertex where it's maximum, and if then if it's if that is value is not 0, then you reduce it by 1 to get a new tiling. But this is a bit problematic, and I said this at the last class. So here this there's only one vertex which has maximum height 2. So here you pick this vertex, reduce it by 1, and you will get a horizontal tiling. But then what do? You have so many ones, right? And you cannot. You cannot. Oh, sorry. This will go down by 2, so it will become 0 because. No, sorry. No, the reduced height function will go down by 1. Sorry. So that will become 1. So if we go back here, this will become a 4, I believe. Yeah, because they'll differ. And so you will also get a 1 here. So, but then what do? So after the first move, this 2 goes to a 1, but so 2 goes to 1, and then maximum height is 1. Then what do? You can't pick any vertex and reduce the height. I mean, if you do that, you might end up with something contradictory. You have to pick a value such that it's the center of a 2 by 2 square for which you can make an elementary move and turn it around. So you could pick this one or this or this or this. You cannot pick this, and you cannot pick this again, because if you pick this again, you will get height 2, which is the wrong way. So this part of the proof is not clarified in the paper, and I mean, of course, the proof is correct, but one has to check some details. So I'll give this as an exercise problem. So give an algorithm to find this vertex Vi. In the proof of the previous proposition. Okay. What is the general algorithm? This is a bit too fast. The ideas are there, but one has to be a little careful. Okay, any questions about this point? Okay, so this is a remark about previous. Okay. How do you choose next vertex? Okay. So right. So I also wanted to demonstrate these Aztec diamond graphs. So I was going to do it in the last class. So so remember I said, okay, again going back here, I said that you can think of this as a perfect matching problem. I mean, tiling Aztec diamonds with dominoes as a perfect matching problem. And in Sage, thankfully for us, they have already built these Aztec diamond graphs. So so let me show you how they look like. So first G dot show. So of course they look similar. Maybe I'll do a larger example. So 4. Okay, so they again have this Aztec structure, but let me show you that they. Okay, so I'll show you a nicer way to draw them in a second. But before that, let's count the perfect matches. So this is an iterator, but let's see. I hope I'm not gone too high. Yeah. Okay. So this is 2 to the 10, which is what it should be. 2 raised to 4 into 4 plus 1 by 2. Okay. So another side remark. Another remark. The Aztec diamond graphs let's say AZN. Already GN is used for something else. So let's say G of AZN can be visualized as follows. You really draw diamonds. So let me show you for 3. 3 is better to see. So I'll compare with this in a moment. So what you do is you draw diamonds like so, touching. Okay, not very good. Try straight lines, but you get the idea. So you draw n of these diamonds in each direction. So this is example for G of AZ. So each of these is a vertex and so on. And then you just tilt it. If you tilt it 45 degrees, you will get this figure. You see? So it's much more. So it might be funky to visualize this in general, but if you draw it in terms of these diamonds, 1 by 1 diamonds, then it's easy to see. And this sort of tells you why not all diamonds are on the same footing. So somehow these ones which are black in our, well, not really, but these ones are the building blocks, and these other diamonds get formed during the process of the construction. Okay, so it's a good shorthand. I mean, it's a good mnemonic to draw these things. Okay. Right. So now today I want to prove the relationship between. I mean, I want to prove the formula that I stated last time, which is this one. That the number of Aztec diamonds of size n is 2 to the n plus 1. Okay, so right. Okay, so before we go there, let me remind you. So recall. we call alternating sign matrices. These are 0, 1, minus 1 matrices of size square matrices such that rows and columns alternate in sign, and they sum to 1. Yeah. Okay, so let ASM of n, I can't use AN because that's already been used, be the set ASMs, the set of ASMs of order n. I'm going to define a few related objects because they will come useful in the correspondence. So a corner sum matrix of order n is an n plus 1 by n plus 1 matrix with entries in the natural numbers such that the first row and column consists of zeros. The last row and column consists of the entries 0 up to n. Remember, it's an n plus 1 by n plus 1, so it has the entries 0 up to n in that order. And every entry is either equal to or one more than the entry to its left and above. So let's look at let's construct all corner sum matrices of size 3. Okay, so what do we have? So first row is, it's n equals 3. So first row and first column is all zeros. The last row and column is up to 3. And now you have to make sure that every entry here is the same, is either equal to or one more, at most one more than the entry to its left and above. So for example, here you can get a 0 or a 1. So here is x. Oh, I want to put everything here now. So there are 4 possible places, 4 entries to fill. So this entry can be at most 0 or 1. And then this entry can be at most 0 or 1. Even if this entry is a 1, this cannot be more. And this entry is forced. So you see, you can't have 0. You can't keep it equal to the previous entries for too long, because you have to satisfy the condition that this entry is at most one more than this and this, right? And similarly for the others. So maybe let's try and let us try and build these matrices. So I want you to tell me. So give me one example. Yes, can you tell me, can you fill these 4 entries in some way?
0, 0 in the second row and 0, 1 in the third row.
Okay, let's try that. So 0, 0 in the second row and 0,
0, 1.
0. Okay, so let's see. So this 0 satisfies the condition. This satisfies. This satisfies. That's good. This is okay. This is okay. And this is okay. And we have to check the last column also. So this is okay. I mean, last column we only have to compare with the entry above. So this is okay, and this is always okay. Very good. Go next.
0, 1, 0, 2.
0, 1, 0, 2. Is that right? So yes, that's okay. Go on.
Sir, the third row,
Thinking
0,
we need one,
right?
yeah.
Yes. Yes, Sai Sanjeev.
In the third row, 0, 2 won't work, right?
Third row 0, 2 won't work. Why? No, it won't work because this is 0. Right.
1 will work.
Yeah, 1 will work, sir. 0.
But so 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, you mean? Yes. So yes, that's correct. Yeah. Anything else? So it's clear that if something is allowed, then its transpose is also allowed because the conditions satisfy that requirement. So 0, 0, 1, 1 is also allowed. So that's the transpose of this. Okay. Continue.
So 0, 1, 1, 2 should work.
0, 1, 1, 2. Yes. So I think Upamani is correct. Yes.
0, 1, 1, 1.
0, 1, 1, 1. Yes, this should have come before. Yes. These two are self-conjugate. I mean, symmetric, so you can't no need to transpose them. What else?
All ones.
All ones. Yes. Anything else?
So 1, 1, 1, 2 will also work.
Yes. Right. So anything else now? Okay, so there are no others. So there are 7, and this is also the number of ASMs of size 3, and that's not a coincidence. So that gives the next proposition. Corner sum matrices of order n are in bijection with ASMs. Okay, so the proof is essentially, so let C be a corner sum matrix. Then we claim that Cij is the sum 0 less than equal to I prime less than equal to I, 0 less than equal to J prime less than equal to J of Aij for some ASM. Okay. So what we are doing is summing. So so you add on this first row and first column, and then every entry you sum all the entries in the ASM, where you look at the ASM as over here. So this will give you exactly the 1th entry. This will give you the 1 1 plus 1 2th entry, like that. Okay. So let us program this. It's a good idea to exercise the programming thing. So okay. So let me see. Maybe this is already there. So let's see. No, corner sum is not there, because but A is okay. So corner sum matrix is there. So let's look at that. So this is the matrix. This is the last matrix that you guys built. Right, so now this I can do A. So we see all of these guys, and to prove, let it complete the proof. So if you have a corner sum matrix that satisfies all these conditions, you have to check. I mean, you have to construct the inverse map, and that should give you an ASM. So construct the inverse map. It's not. Okay. So this is one class of objects which is related to ASMs. Another thing, another object which we will actually use. I mean, this is something halfway between ASMs and what we're going to construct next. But this next object, which is called a height function matrix. This is going to be directly related to asterisk diagrams of order n. Again, is an n plus 1 by n plus 1 matrix with entries in the natural numbers, such that the first row and column consist of 0 to n. So again, consecutive. There's an n plus 1 order matrix, so these will come, and also the last row and column. Okay. Oh no, sorry. This time it's n to 0. Okay, I'll give an example. And every entry, so condition is similar to the corner sum matrix, so differs from the one above and to its left by 1. Okay. When I say differs, maybe I'll put a plus minus 1. So it can be either more or less, but it cannot be equal. Okay. So again, one can do this example for n equals 3. I guess this will be faster now. So the first row is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so is the first column. and the last row and last column go decrease. Okay, right. So, and you have to fill in these 4 entries. And okay, again, let's quickly fill these up. Okay, I'm going to fall short of space now. As you can guess, there are going to be 7 of these again, and so I want you to tell me what are the. Can you tell me any filling of these
0, 1, 1, 0. 0, 1,
One,
and then 1, 0. Yeah.
1, 0. Yeah, is that right? So you have to check that. So now you don't have to worry about equality. So as you read along every row and every column, entries should change by 1. Yes, that is correct. Next.
0, 1, 1, 2.
0, 1, 2. Yes. Go on.
2 1 1 0.
2, 1, 1, 0. Okay. Yeah.
2, 3.
Yes. Sorry.
2, 3, 3, 2. 2, 3, 3, 2.
2, 3, 3, 2. Okay, you are only giving me symmetric examples, so I'm not able to take that conjugate. Okay, and transpose. Yes, I think that's right also. Go ahead.
2, 1, 1, 2.
2, 1, 1, 2. Yes.
2 1 3 2.
Right. And this is the first one, which is not its transpose. So, oh, sorry. So 2, 3, 1, 2 also. Yes, thank you. So these are the 7. So, and again, similar proposition. Oh, okay. Let me first see if we have so A was, remember, A was the identity matrix. Okay, so let's see these again for A and A. So fortunately, someone has built all this for us. So this was actually the first step you guys suggested. Let's see. So let's just look at the 2 by 2. 0, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0. Yes, it's there. 0, 1, 1, 2. It's here. So the first 3 are done. 2, 1, 1, 2. That's this one. 2, 1, 3, 2. That's this one. 2, 3, 1, 2. That's this one. And the last one is 2, 3, 3, 2. Okay, so right. So height function, matrices. So I'm deviating a bit from the terminology in Sage of order n, Rn bijection. With ASMs of order n. I mean, the way this is stated is maybe a little stupid because all the content of this is that there are as many height function matrices of order n as there are ASMs of order n, but somehow I want to say that they are natural bijection. So so the proof is again by an explicit construction. So let C be the corner sum matrix associated to an ASM A, then let define the matrix H by Hij is I plus j minus 2c. Okay, and again, So this I plus j is coming because as you can see, things, or if I go here, so things change as you go diagonal to diagonal, even in the corner sum matrix, right? So I build it diagonal by diagonal in some sense, because the entries in this diagonal depend on the entries, only on the entries in this diagonal, and so on. So somehow adding this I plus j thing is naturally comfortable. So again, exercise, construct the inverse. I might actually give you the answer later on. Okay. Right. So now back to asteroid diamonds. So we will show that domino tilings order n of an, sorry. So an, remember, was the asteroid diamond region of order n. We will show that domino tilings of an are in bijection with pairs A, B, where A is an ASM of order n and B is an ASM of order n plus 1. Okay? Satisfying a certain compatibility condition. Okay, you won't get all pairs, otherwise we would have gotten some other answer. Okay, so this compatibility condition is a bit, it's a bit ad hoc if as written, if I just write it right now. So that's why I'm not writing it in the theorem form. But we are proving this theorem. We are proving this theorem. So let T be a tiling in AN. So remember that it has a height function ht. So construct, or maybe I'll write that explicitly, with height function ht, not reduced, right? There's the actual height function. So we will construct matrices A prime and B prime by recording the heights with the values of ht in odd and even vertices respectively. Remember that we had a definition for when a vertex in AN is odd and when it's even. This is not necessarily the same as the natural parity. Okay, so since I have the benefit of this technology, let me shamelessly take this example. Let me lift an example from their paper. it's useful to take an example. Make it smaller. Okay, so I'm going to first I'll write down the formula and then we'll see. So let Aij, A prime ij is the height, remember, of the odd vertices. So it's minus n plus I plus 1 minus I plus j for 0 less than equal to ij less than equal to 2. And B prime ij is the height of minus n minus 1 plus I plus j minus I plus j. 0 less, I think this should be plus 1. No, sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm going to somehow mentally rotate the Aztec diamond sort of 45 degrees, and I'm going to look at both the subgraphs and read off the entries like so. Okay, so in this example, let me try to squeeze it in over here. So A prime, so I'm going to read the entries like so. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This is the odd vertices. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. The first row over here 3, 5, 7, 5, 7. 5, 7, 5, 7, 5. 7, 5, 3, 5, 3. And 9, 7, 5, 3. That's A prime. And B prime is going to be bigger. It's going to be a 6 by 6 matrix. So I'm going to now read the even vertices. So I get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then 2, 4, 6, 4, 6, 8. 4, 6, 8, 6, 4, 6. 6, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4. 8, 6, 4, 2, 4, 2. And 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Okay. Any questions about this construction? Okay. Notice, let me write that here. Notice that the boundary entries, let's say the first and last columns, A prime and B prime, are forced. Let's see that. For B prime, this is obvious because remember the heights of the boundary are fixed. So 0 to 10 to 0 to 10 is right. So we had said that in the last class. So these things are for A prime, which is the odd entries, you might be a little worried, but this is also forced because you see. How should I say this? So this is a black square, remember, black. So let's look at this black square. So around a black square, the vertices, the edges go counterclockwise. So this one, and this one is also black outside. So this one goes counterclockwise. So this one directs to the right, this one directs to the bottom, and so this one is forced. The number 1 is forced. Here look at this 3. I mean, this is adjacent to both a 2 and a 4, which are forced. Now, as we've said, the difference can either be 1 or 3. So this difference can be plus 1 or minus 3. So this could have been a 2 or a minus 1. Sorry, 2 or a minus 1. But then minus 1 and 4 are too far apart. And similarly, this could have been a 3 or a 7, and 7 and 2 are too far apart. So this is forced to be a 3. Okay. So similarly, all the vertices in the inside of the boundary are forced, but only up till the first level. Then they can change. And now you can see the structure of these. These are all odd entries. These are all even entries, and you can see the condition. As you read along any row or column, the entries decrease by 2, change by 2. So let's prove that. So consecutive entries in A prime and B prime must differ by exactly 2. So let's see that. So let me draw a domino. So let's say this is A, and so this is the domino, and this is either a black or a white square, and vice versa. So then this is A plus or minus 1. I mean, if I'm writing the heights, so this say has height A, then this has height A plus or minus 1. And let's look at this height, which is what is going to matter. This is the consecutive element of A in either A prime or B prime. This is then A plus or minus 2. Why is that? Well, if this square is white, then these are increasing consecutively. Otherwise, these are decreasing consecutively. So then this will be A. If this is black, it's A minus 1, A minus 1, A minus 2. And so if you compare these two, they differ by exactly 2. And similarly, by what I just said, this is A minus plus 1. And now if this is black, this is white, this square is black, this square is white, and vice versa. So then you can convince yourself that this has to be A plus minus 1, this has to be A. And then if you compare these two, you again find the height difference too. And a similar calculation works for vertical domino. This or so let's say this dot. So then this, if this is A, this is again A plus minus 1, A plus minus 2, A plus minus 3, A plus minus 1, A plus minus 2, and you can again see. Oh, sorry, not this way, but this way. Well, actually both ways. Yeah, I should have illustrated that. One is horizontal, one. Okay. Difference is always okay. And you can see the correspondence with height function. So let A star ij be aij minus 1 by 2 and b star ij bij by 2. Then a star and b star are height function matrices of order n and n plus 1 respectively. And are in bijection with ASMs. So how do you go from a height function matrix like this? How do you, well, not like this, but after reducing everything, how do you go from a height function matrix to an ASM? So can you see? Maybe we can go back here. So here is a height function matrix. Okay, maybe it's a bit hard to do on the fly, but I can tell you. So to construct the ASM, we can obtain ASMs A and B corresponding. From A star and B star from the formula Aij, for example, is half of A star ij minus 1 plus A star I minus 1j minus A star ij minus A star I minus 1j. So if you use this, you will get ASMs. So in our example, in the above example, we get A to be the ASM 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, minus 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and B to be 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, minus 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. I mean, roughly, what you need to do is to compare these two entries, the sum of these two entries with the sum of these two entries. So they will either be equal. Well, not here, but if you had reduced them so that, I mean, you subtract 1 from everything and divide by 2, then you will get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc. on the boundaries, and here you will get something, whatever you get. You have to compare the sum of these two with the sum of these two, and if that is if they're equal, you get 0. If this is larger, you get a 1, and if this is larger, you get a 1. That's the that's what this formula says. Okay, so so we have gone one way, right? So from a tiling, we have constructed a pair of ASMs. So now before I move on, I want to make another point, which will prove useful later, and this I'll leave as an exercise. So actually, so we can construct A and B directly from the tiling without getting into the this height function business at all. And that's what I want to show you. So again, let's go back to this example. So look at any vertex. This is the tiling and corresponding to this height function. Okay. So look at any vertex. So let's not look there. So look at any vertex here. Can you say what is the minimum and maximum number of dominoes any vertex is adjacent to by looking at this figure? What is the minimum and what is the maximum? I want someone to answer.
2 and 4, right?
Yes, that's correct, Upanyu. Yes, so if you look at this vertex, for example, it's adjacent to 4 dominoes, and you cannot do more because every vertex is adjacent to 4 squares. And the minimum you will have is 2, like here, because every cell is adjacent to a domino. And so what can happen is that these two pairwise sit together. Okay, so here there are 2, here this is 4, and you will see that majority are 3. So if you look at this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, I mean most of them you'll see are 3. When you have 2 parallel dominoes which correspond to our elementary moves, then you will have 2. And if you have like I mean, this is not the only example. I want to show you another example. Look at this. So if all 4 of these cells belong to different dominoes, then you can have 4. But those will be rarer. Okay. So in that, what is the relationship between these two is the following. Is the content of the following exercise. So prove that you can obtain A and B directly from the tiling without going into the height function at all, as follows. If V is even and is incident with 2, 3, or 4 dominoes, mark V with 1, 0, or -1 respectively. So if it's an even vertex and it is incident with 2 dominoes, then you put a -1 there. If it's incident with 3, you put a 0, and with 4, you put a -1. And similarly, let me copy paste the whole thing to save myself some effort. If V is odd and is incident with 2, 3, or 4 dominoes, you mark V with a -1, 0, 1. Okay, and if you do that, and of course you look at the corresponding even and odd lattices, you will get exactly A and B. Okay, you will get ASMs. You will get these two in the above example, in this example. So you don't even have to go through the height function, but it is useful. Okay, so now okay, so what we have done so far is given a tiling, we have constructed a pair of ASMs. Now we want to go backwards, but to go backwards we come to this compatibility condition that I mentioned. Okay, so as I said, we will show that there is a certain compatibility condition. So now So now to the converse. So given ASMs A and B, construct A prime and B prime. So what were A prime and B prime? They were these height function matrices. So I'm skipping the intermediate step of constructing A star and B star. So you first construct the height function matrices from these, and then for the smaller one, you make it odd, and the larger one you make it in the obvious way. Okay. Okay, maybe I should do that. Of order n and n plus 1 respectively, constructed. Okay. And then form the height function ht. Right? So given A prime and B prime, you can come up with a height function like this. Now, but we want to check what's going to happen. To get an honest ht, we have to compare, we have to check that A prime and B prime, rather that A and B quote unquote fit together in a nice way. So let's see. So I'll do this for B and I'll leave it for you to do for A. So consider an internal entry, by which I mean a non-boundary entry. We have already said that the boundary entries are first. Let's say B prime ij of B prime. So it is surrounded by four entries. A prime I minus 1 j minus 1, A prime I minus 1 j, A prime I j minus 1, and A prime I j. Okay? Right. So you look at an internal entry here, let's say this 6. It's surrounded by 4 entries. If this is the ijth entry, this is the ijth entry of A. And so this is I minus 1 j, I j minus 1, and minus 1. Okay. Now, it can differ from each of these by either plus minus 1 or minus plus 3. Right? So it can, this will depend on the parity, and I'll show you how this depends. So it's either plus 1 or minus 3 or minus 1 or plus 3, depending. There is no choice. So I'll show you exactly what the conditions are. So for each one of those, there are 2 possibilities. So this is 2 with this, 2 with this. So a priori, it looks like there are 16 possibilities. But these are not all independent. Not all of these are independent. It turns out there are only 6 possibilities. So let us look at all of them. Okay, so maybe I'll try and squeeze them into this page. Okay, so I'll do it with an example, with examples rather. So let me divide this into 2. So I'll try to fit 3 here and 3 here. Okay, a bit of a tight squeeze. Let's try. Okay. So let's say the vertex is 6 and now it's adjacent to these guys. So I have this, this, sorry, this, and this. So okay, let's go back here. So even vertices are always at the bottom left of black squares. This I have already pointed out earlier. So this guy is black and this is black and those two are white. So this goes counterclockwise here. So this has to go. So dot means it's part of, it's an internal edge in a domino. So this has to be a 5 because this goes this way, and this has to be a 7. And this is also counterclockwise. So this has to be a 5. And now this would have been a 7. But it has to go down by 3 now. So it's either +1 or -3. So this is 3. Okay, this is one possibility. Let's look at the next possibility. So again, let me assume this is a 6. So this is the case when it's adjacent to 3 dominoes. You can see this one, and this whole thing. So there are 4 possibilities for where the third domino can be. Where the full domino can be, right? So there are 4 total possibilities when a vertex is adjacent to 3 dominoes. So let's go through all of them. So the next one is, let's say, where the domino is where the edge in the middle of the domino is to the right. So then I have this, this, and this. Okay. So now again, remember this is black and this is black. So now this is down. So this is 5. This is to the left. So this is 7. This is up. So this is 5. And now this would have been going this way. So it would have been a 7, but it's a 3. Okay. And now here. So again, let me take this to be a 6. And now let's suppose the thing is down. The third domino is like so. The horizontal domino below it. So again, this is black, this is black. So this is down, right, left. So this is 5, 7 again. This is also 7. And now this would have been a 5. So it would have been -1. So now it's a +3. So it's 9. Okay. So now I know how much space I need. So I need more space here. That's the reason. Okay, so the last one in this family. So let's say 6. This is up like so. Okay. So now let's see. So counterclockwise. So going this way, this way, this way. So this is 7, 7, 5. This would be 5 normally, so it would be +3, so 9. Okay. And now we come to an interesting case. Both the next two are interesting cases. Let's look at the case when it's adjacent to 4 dominoes. Okay, so here let me put a 6. And now all are solid edges. So I don't really care how these dominoes are oriented. This domino could be horizontal or vertical, this could be horizontal, vertical. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that these edges are solid, not dashed. So now again counterclockwise here. So these are all forced. So this is 5, 7, 5, 7. Okay. The last non-trivial case. Okay, so now so far I've been forcing I've been fixing the height of the middle edge. So now instead I'll fix the heights of the top edges. So okay, so let me do it this way. So solid, solid. So again, that means that there are two vertical dominoes. This is remember this is what I was saying, that this is the incidence 2 condition. So let's suppose that this is 7 and these are 5. Okay. In that case, this is going downwards, this is going upwards, and this is 8. Or it's the other way around. So again, this is 7, 5, 7, 5. Now this is going left, and this is also going right. So this is 4 actually. Okay, so here, okay, so let's take stock. So these are the only 6 possibilities I claim. So what I've done is, in a sense, shown you what are the possible conditions for these 4 values. So this is the ijth entry. Remember, this is the I-1 j-1. So the I-1 j-1 can be 3 lower, and the other can be 1 more or less in this particular way, or the other 4 similar conditions, or they can all be 1 apart. If they are in this arrangement, which is 5, 7, 5, 7, then this is forced to be 6. But if they are in the other arrangement, 7, 5, 7, 5, then there are 2 possibilities. Okay, so that's what I have shown you. And there are no other possibilities. Okay, so there is a multiplicity of 2 whenever the even vertex is surrounded by a pattern like that. Okay, and this corresponds to, so these are 2 vertical adjacent dominoes, and these are 2 adjacent horizontal dominoes. Going from one to the other corresponds exactly to an elementary move that we discussed earlier. Okay, any questions about this? So notice that Bij is forced in all but one of these cases, one of these configurations, local configuration. And now if you go back to your exercise, to the exercise that I just mentioned, this is an even vertex and it's adjacent to 2 dominoes. So an even vertex adjacent to 2 dominoes corresponds to a 1 in the ASM. Okay. So okay. The one which is not forced corresponds to a +1 in the ASM B. Sorry, this should be B. Capital. B prime. Yeah. Okay, is that clear? Thus, if A is fixed, then we get two ASMs B every time there is a oh, sorry, what did I do? Just a second. Yeah, so this is just a second, I've confused myself. Right. Okay, so no, so actually, so this is wrong. So this should be the ASM A because of because you see, remember I told you that going from the height function to the ASM corresponds to taking this 2 by 2 square of entries. If you tilt your screen 45 degrees, this corresponds to 2 by 2 entry, the 2 by 2 entry 5775 in the ASM A. Sorry, in the height function for the ASM A. So that entry is determined here, and I claim that that entry will be a 1. Okay, so because this is the difference, it's the sum of these two minus the sum of this, divided by 2. So every time you have a 1 in the ASM A, you are going to get 2 possibilities. Okay, so for B. Okay, so then we get 2 to the n plus of A ASMs compatible ASMs B, where n plus of A, let's just say n plus minus of A is the number of plus minus ones in A. Okay, all right. So what we have, so this gives us a formula now. Thus, so AD of n, which is what we are trying to compute. This is the sum over all A's in ASM of n, 2 to the n plus of A. This gives us A formula. Okay. Is this argument clear? Yeah. So what I said was wrong. This is +1 in the ASM for A. Well, yeah. Okay. If there are any questions, please ask. Okay. Now, so now the second one can repeat this whole case analysis by fixing an internal entry A prime ij and looking at the corresponding entries for B prime ij's. So exercise. So switch the roles of A prime and B prime, perform the case analysis, and show that AD of n is the sum over all B in ASMs of n plus 1, 2 to the n minus of B. This time you'll get a choice of 2 corresponding to a minus 1 in B. Okay. Okay, now we are almost done. It is so if I replace n by n minus 1 here, so replacing n by n minus 1 here, we get AD of n minus 1 is the sum over B in ASM of n, 2 to the n minus of B. Okay, but there is a clear relationship between n plus and n minus. So can anyone tell me what's the relationship between n plus and n minus in any ASM? But in any ASM, what is the relationship? Remember that rows and columns alternate and sum to 1. Alternate in sign and sum to 1. So what is the
n plus minus n minus is n.
That's good. Exactly. You got it? Yes, I see. That's exactly right. So n plus any ASM B, let's say n plus of B minus n minus of B is equal to n. Why? Because in each row you will necessarily have exactly one more 1 than a minus 1, and there are n rows. So when so if you do the subtraction row wise, you will get 1 plus 1 plus 1 on the way up. So therefore, that's 1. So therefore, AD of n, now going back to, okay, so how do I want to write it? So I'll now use the first, this formula. So AD of n, so we will call it star. Oops. So AD of n from star. AD of n is the sum over A in ASM of n, 2 to the n plus of A, which is now n plus n minus of A, which is equal to 2 to the n, that comes outside. And now I have a sum over A in ASM of n, 2 to the n minus of A. But now stare at this formula. This thing is exactly AD of n minus. And by induction, we have proved AD of n is 2 to the n into n plus 1. When your base case is obvious. Okay, so this completes the proof, and it's as you can see, it's very elegant. It shows this connection with ASMs, and also this also proves something that I had said earlier, which is that the 2 enumeration of ASMs gives you 2 to the n plus 1. This also proves that. Okay, so okay, so yeah, so are there any questions? Okay, so I will okay, so I will oh, I should refer you to this nice article by Jim Prop on it's called The Many Faces of Alternating Sign Matrices. So we have seen 2 different objects which are in natural bijection with ASMs. One is these corner sum matrices, and then these height function matrices. And there are many other objects which naturally link up to ASMs. Remember, I had shown you this 6 vertex model configurations. They are also there. Then there's there are so-called osculating paths. There are many other things. In the next lecture, I'll mention one more class of objects. So I will post this notes. I mean Jim Prop's article on in our Teams session, but you can also look at it online if you like. It's there on the archive. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So let me stop recording.